So welcome to this video on the guitar style of Ian Anderson. First off, I'd like to say that I think Ian is one of the geniuses of the rock era, really. His sense of melody, the mastery of rhythm, and overall musicianship sets him apart really in a class of his own. In his prime, he was also, an excellent vocalist. His sense of phrasing was outstanding. All you have to do is try to sing one of his songs precisely as he sang it, and you'll appreciate this. Stand Up was the first Jethro Tull album that I heard. I really loved the contrast of the acoustic songs with the heavier sounds of the full band and Martin Barr's incredible electric playing. I was fortunate enough to see Jethro Tull on the initial Thick as a Brick tour when it came through my town, and it still remains to this day the best concert that I've ever seen. Ian's skill as a flautist often draws the most attention, but his acoustic guitar skills are quite considerable. He always uses a pick. I've never really seen him do finger style picking with his right hand, but the picking patterns that he uses are quite intricate with his pick, and quite frankly they're very difficult for me to play, and it'll require some serious wood shedding if you want to play it exactly as he did. Today I'm going to show you some examples of what gives his playing such a distinctive sound, because it really does sound different from other guitar players. I hope you'll find it interesting. We'll look at these songs, and perhaps it'll be useful in your own pursuits of trying to cover Jethro Tull's songs. If you stay tuned to this channel, I'll have several complete song tutorials hopefully in the next few months. Hopefully if I have time to get around to that. First off, Ian generally tunes his guitar to standard tuning and very frequently places a capo on the 3rd fret, although it may be higher on the neck at times. He likes to play out of a D-shaped chord, so when you place the capo on the 3rd fret, of course that changes the D chord shape to the key of F, and this allowed him to base the songs in a key that was really brought out the most of his vocal register. Some exceptions to the standard tuning would be One Brown Mouse, that is in Dadgad tuning, and Cold Wind of Valhalla would be another example, which is in dropped D tuning, but we won't look at those today. So the examples we're going to look at are passages of Thick as a Brick, One White Duck, Wondering Aloud, and Skating Away on the Thin Ice of a New Day. So we'll look at his picking style, his frequent use of upstrokes on the strumming pattern, and his use of passing notes between chords, and the distinct way that he used these. We'll look at those today, and hopefully it'll be of some interest. So here we go. First example we'll start with is Thick as a Brick, which opens We're not going to really go over that intro part because that's how he does it on the record, but that's not how he played it live subsequently. He just opened the song with So we're playing out of a D-shaped chord. We're primarily picking these strings, and we're doing it with a downstroke, upstroke, downstroke. So we're playing them, and then we're putting our pinky here. Down, up, down, down, up, down. We're switching to a G-shaped chord. gives this sound, his playing unique sound, is this slurred upstroke at the end of the phrase. So some people might just strum it evenly, which would sound like, which doesn't quite sound right, does it? Because he slurs the upstroke at the end. So he's using that slurred upstroke. And he uses this so frequently in his playing that it gives his strumming always a unique sound to his own. Another very frequent thing that he does is when he's playing a D-shaped, he'll lift these two fingers, leave this one down. He'll do the same thing on the A-shaped chord. So you've heard that so many times in so many of his songs.
So you ride yourselves over the fields and you make all your animal deals, and you wise men don't know how it feels to be thick as a brick.
So those are two things that make his playing sound uniquely his own. If we take another example of this slurred upstroke, would be the intro to One White Duck, which actually is fretted on the 4th fret, starts on E minor with your pinky on the high note there. So he starts One White Duck like this. So you see he's using slurred upstroke and then he's picking a note at the end. So it wouldn't sound quite right if you just took it and strummed it, would it? So because those slurred upstrokes give it that very unique sound once again. If we look at Wondering Aloud, it'll show another technique that he used quite frequently, which was passing notes between the chords and also articulating a little bit of the chords. Like on the C shape that he starts the song in, move my capo back down to the 3rd fret. See, he picks the first 2 notes of the chords and then strums the rest.
Wondering aloud.
So those are the passing notes between chords that he uses so frequently in his playing too.
Wondering aloud.
there he's articulating those notes by picking them singularly as he's in between strumming.
How we feel today.
And there's that thing with the D chord again.
We are the saviors as we start.
So see how he's playing the first two notes of the chord with it, picking the individual notes and then strumming the rest.
We are the saviors as we start. Both our hearts beating right.
See those passing notes again. And then at the end of the G chord, we're going to really slur that upstroke again.
We are the saviors as we start. Both our hearts beating right.
And then you're going to do that slurred upstroke. Very important to get it to sound like he played it.
We are the saviors as we start. Both our hearts beating right into each other.
And then making sure we articulate those. Let's move on to a song, Skating Away on the Thin Ice of a New Day, which I believe is on the 3rd fret as well.
Meanwhile, back in the year 1, when you belonged to no one, didn't stand a chance, son, if your pants were undone. 'Cause you were bred for humanity and so to society.
Once again, slurring those upstrokes.
So to society. One day you wake up in the present day, a million generations removed from expectations of being who you really want to be.
Slur that upstroke to get it to sound like in.
Who you really want to be. Skating away, skating away, skating away on the thin ice, on the thin ice.
See, he's playing what he's singing there, but it's a passing note between the chords.
On the thin ice of the new day, yeah, 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 yeah.
Using those slurred upstrokes.
On the thin ice of the new day, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's do another example of the slurred upstrokes, which would be in the second side of Thick as a Brick, which I did a previous video where I did the whole thing continuously, and I actually got the opening part of the second side wrong. I thought it was just the but it's not. It goes like clear white. It's very hard for me to play. In the clear white surface of morning wonder, I take my place with the Lord of the hills, and the blue-eyed soldier stands slightly discolored, a neat little rose sporting canvas frills. So that passage is a good practice for those slurred up strokes. So I'd recommend you just try that. So hopefully that'll get you at least started on working on the sound of Ian's playing, and then, like I said, in subsequent videos I'll break down an entire song and try to help you learn that. So hope you learned something today, and stay tuned. Thanks. Bye. I'll give you a quick little tour of my home studio where I get to be a hobby musician. I have it in a separate room away from the house, so it hopefully avoids some of the noise of vacuum cleaners and the like. These are my guitars, the ones that I use the most. I have a Martin OMC Aura that I use frequently. Probably my favorite guitar is this Collings OM3 that was built in 1990 by Collings Guitars in Austin, Texas. Wonderful little guitar. The Dreadnought that I have is a Martin D41 that was built in 1989. It's a wonderful Dreadnought, but I just don't use Dreadnoughts that much. I prefer smaller body guitars. The newest addition to the stable is this Collings Waterloo. It's a copy of a guitar, cheap guitar that you might have bought in a magazine, say in 1950s or 1960s, like a Kalamazoo. Neat little guitar, wonderful. When I do play mandolin parts, the rare times that I do, I use this flat iron octave mandolin, and then I just capo it up the neck if I need it to sound more like just a regular traditional mandolin. Few bass guitars, few sundry electric guitars, which I don't play all that frequently, mostly acoustic, including my very first real guitar, which was a 1971 Telecaster, which I don't think I can part with for the time being. The few effects pedals that I have when I do play electric, and a 12-string, a few other things. The mics that I use are primarily for vocals. I use an AKG 414, and then for my guitar I have a Neumann KM184, pointed usually at the 12th fret to get the best sound. I have those running over to my console. The preamps that I use the most frequently are the Avalon 737 and the Focusrite 428, and those are running into my Lynx Aurora 16, which outputs to my JBL LSRs for monitoring. And then my Aurora feeds into my PC, on which I'm still running Windows 7, if you can believe. And then my DAW is Sonar Producer 7, which has also been discontinued, so I'm kind of running on borrowed time. As long as these last, I'm okay, but then I'm going to have to migrate probably to Logic Pro on Apple computer. I'm just a hobbyist musician, really. I Did play professionally from 1975 to 1976, but I got tired of starving, so I decided I would change course and go to medical school and become a medical doctor. As you can probably tell from my moniker, I specialized in anesthesiology, hence snooze doctor.